pristine truths for the salvation of its listeners through radio. On February 13th, 1983, thousands of viewers witnessed the live premiere of the telecast entitled Ang Iglesianicristo on television. This was aired across different parts of the Philippines, and eventually the church administration decided to also launch a broadcast program abroad called The Message. The preaching of God's words also has been conducted in various languages and dialects. Not only were the biblical discussions broadcast on air, various other ways were also devised to convey God's message for the salvation of mankind. The church also took advantage of the internet with INC Media and other digital platforms as powerful tools for proclaiming and sharing God's teachings. In this way, the purpose of God in sending Brother Felix Y. Manalo as his messenger is continually fulfilled, that more and more people may come to know the truths written in the Bible and receive salvation on the day of judgment.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesianicristo.
To read them throughout the show. Back to you, Sister Macy.
Welcome back to another episode of Explore Mountain States.
That's it for the weather
and
updates.
Moving on to our district news updates.
Only here
on INCRadio, Mountain States.
Good afternoon and good evening. You're tuning in here live to INCRadio, Mountain States. I am your host for today, Sister Princess Rosano, broadcasting from Las Vegas, Nevada. A happy Saturday to all of those here in the west side of the world, and in the east side, happy Sunday to those on the east side. So hello, especially to those in Japan. So we wanted to greet everybody and thank everyone for tuning in here to INCRadio Mountain States. It's always a pleasure to have you join us, to always stay engaged, and to get your insight as we explore various topics here on our show. Today's topic, we're going to be exploring the strength in supporting each other. There are so many things going on, and we want to explore ways that we can continue to motivate each other, whether we're motivating our family members, our friends, our peers, or even fellow brethren and fellow officers inside the church. Whether it be parents helping and supporting their children through school or as they continue to grow, or even friends supporting each other in milestones of their lives, or even officers, like I've mentioned, supporting each other in the performances of our duties. We just want to explore and gain insight as to why is this important, and remind each other how important it is to continue to support each other, especially when it comes to the performance of our duties and inside our faith. We want to emphasize that all of our efforts are never alone in. We continue to work together, whether it be at home, at work, at church, wherever we are. And why is it important to continue to support each other? Now, we would love your support in INCRadio Mountain States. If you are watching on YouTube, please be sure to like this video, leave all of your comments and your greetings with your hashtag local congregation. That way we can continue to recognize the congregations who support us in watching INCRadio Mountain States. Also provide your insight throughout the show. That way we can gain what your perspective is on the topics that we broadcast. Be sure to also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is INCRadio DCEM 954. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell. That way, whenever an INCRadio family channel or any INCRadio family videos continue to come. Please support the INC Radio family across the world, abroad. So again, we really appreciate having you here on INC Radio Mountain States. We see some of you in the live chat right now. I want to greet Sister Janet Salvador. She says, warmest greetings po, dear brethren from I don't want to mess this up. Cagayan de Oro, Philippines. So hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So thank you, Sister Janet, for watching. We have Brother Mario Oka. He said, good morning here in the Philippines and enjoy watching here on INC Radio Mountain States Satellite Studio. He says, greetings from the locale of Bronxtonville, District of Caloocan North. We have Kanorma Sansan. Hi po, Auntie. She says, happy Saturday po, brothers and sisters. Hashtag SLV or South Las Vegas. We also have Sister Nikki Payumo in the chat. Hi, Sister Nix. Thanks for joining us. So we're so happy that all of you are here. If you haven't already, please share this link because all of you are our guests today for INC Radio. All the insight and perspective we'll be gaining is from whatever you chat in the chat. So be sure to stay active in the chat. That way I can read it off and then we can talk about this topic together. Now, I do want to give a very special shout out. It's going to be a birthday shout out. So happy birthday to one of our ministers teaching in the SFM in Sacramento, California. Yes, well, happy birthday po to Brother Manuel D. Andaya, or Kuya Manly's dad. So happy birthday po. We pray the best for you po, and thank you so much for all the hard work and your efforts inside the Church of Christ po. Thank you, and thank you for the music, Kuya Tech. As the live chat continues to stay engaged, again, we currently would love for our watching now or our live views to go up in the double digits. So please share this video to all of your friends, your families, your local congregation, wherever you can send this link to, send it now. We're going to move on to our topic discussion, as I mentioned earlier in the show. Our topic is the strength in supporting each other, especially with what's going on right now in the world. You know, being able to be there for each other and to create the safe space is so important with our peers, with our circle, with our family. When it comes to family, you know, encouragement within the home builds emotional safety, right? We want to make sure we continue to strengthen these bonds, especially during challenging transitions or challenging times. You know, the life we go through is not perfect and we're going to hit bumps in the road, but making sure that we support family, whether it be parents supporting children or vice versa, or siblings supporting each other on supporting, you know, uncles and uncles supporting aunts and nieces and nephews, all over cousins, whatever family members you have, we have to make sure we're there to support each other. You know, what are small ways that family shows up for each other and how can we encourage each other? From my perspective, I'll give perspective as a child and my relationship with my mom. So I know that my mom and I have a very strong relationship, and the support she provides me, I will always say she is my number one fan. She always takes the time to support me. When I was in college, many of you might know or may not know, but I did go to school for music. So I oftentimes had concerts in our university choir, and she was always there supporting our school concerts. Even when I was in band in middle school and high school, she was there supporting me throughout my music career. Even when it was in school, she valued that time and she valued being able to nurture my love for music. And I found her to be the best support and my motivation to continue refining the skills that I had in music. And it's continued to bless me, and especially in the performances of my duties, and to have opportunities inside the church to perform for the voice competition we had in 2023, which I encourage you to audition if you haven't auditioned this year. I'm just going to plug that in if you haven't already sent in your audition video. But I've had opportunities in music, and I really don't feel like I would have gotten as far as I did had I not had that support from my mom. She's also supported me in my career when I became a teacher, and even when I transitioned outside of teaching to healthcare. It was scary for me because even when I was in college, I actually went to college not for music initially. In my first year, I went into college for business. So we kind of see that my mind could not decide when I was younger. And it's scary as a child, or even just as a young adult, having to tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I went to apply for this major and I got in, but now I want to switch my major. And I think telling my mom I wanted to switch to music was really scary. And, in the beginning, she heard what I had to say, and I know she took time to process, but ultimately she was, again, the most supportive in my decision to go into music, because she knew that was something that I loved, and she helped nurture that love. And I feel like that went on to various opportunities. Aside from her support in what I love doing, she also supports me in the things that I don't always love approaching, like my challenges when it comes to certain things in life, like learning how to be an adult, adulthood. There's even cooking. Right now I'm learning how to cook things the way she cooks. I'll just give a little bit of insight. Right before the show, I was cooking sinigang, and it's one of the more easier Filipino dishes to cook. It's just soup, and you throw a bunch of vegetables. And so I know that a lot of people will say sinigang is easy, and when I ask her, well, how do you want me to cut this, or how do you want me to wash this, or how do you want me to do this or that? To our parents' minds, sometimes it's so easy, like you just cut it or you just wash it. But she's been very patient with me, especially when I explain, well, I know I need to do this, but how? Could you explain it to me? So learning how to cook, she's been very supportive and very willing. She'll still, I feel like by now I should know how to cook, but as simple as things like that, I really want to learn. I'm so eager to learn. I've been begging her for a cookbook from my mom, but her cookbook is all up here, like many Filipino parents. And so her support in those kinds of challenges, it's been the best, because the outcome and the result of it is, one, I feel very proud of myself, but I hope I also make her proud. And her showing me how to do like these things, I feel like it builds, even just cooking builds resilience, because I burned myself many times. So I really appreciate her support in that. I want to ask the live chat, for those who are watching, what kind of support, or how do you support your family members? Who supports you, or who motivates you, especially when it comes to your family? Is it your parents? Is it your siblings? There's just so many ways we can support our family. Right. This also is applicable to our friendships. With my circle, if you've ever heard the saying, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are, I 100% believe in that quote, because my friends are the people that I really look up to when it comes to my successes in life. I do my best to make sure I surround myself with people who uplift me, who honestly are more successful than me. Because when I surround myself with people who I feel are more successful than me, one, I learn so much from them. I don't ever want to be, they say don't be the smartest person in the room, or something along those lines. That is something I value, to not be the smartest person in the room, because I want to learn from the people who are around me. And my friends, I can 100% say those are those type of people. When it comes to my career, especially when I was transitioning out of education into healthcare, I constantly ask questions to my friends, because I've seen their successes and I continue to see their growth. And that's something that I'm striving to achieve. And their support in my career growth has been so amazing, because I don't think I would be as far as I am had it not been for their advice, for their guidance, for their prep with me, especially through interviews. So I want to shout out to all my friends because their successes are what I look up to. They're like my little board. It's like I just pin, in my head, I pin who they are, and then I pin all their successes, and then what are my tasks to get on their level, and it's never a comparison of, can I be like them eventually, or like, what are you, it's more of, how their support uplifts me and how their support guides me to be the best version of myself. If I were to tell a stranger who my friends are, I would proudly be able to tell them each of my friends, and how they've helped me through so many things in life, through so many aspects of my life. So I want to shout that out to them. I want to also give a shout out to those who are continuing to join us in the chat. Again, Sister Nikki is in the chat, and I think she's beating everyone in how many comments people are leaving. She's still number one. Sister Norma, hi auntie, is number 3, and then Sister Janet is number 2. And we have Sister Priscilla who's joined us. Hello, Sister Priscilla. Again, if you haven't already shared this video, please be sure to do so. If you are just tuning in, we are talking about the strength in supporting each other. We're going to go on a short station break in just a minute. So I'll give Kuya Tech some time to prepare the station break. But again, if you are just tuning in, we're talking about the strength in supporting each other and how that's able to help uplift us and motivate us and get us through whether it's challenging times or even the good times of life. We've touched on family to family support and how friendships and peer support is so important. And I want to read a comment. I see a long comment from Sister Nikki. She says, having been able to feel the support coming from, you're so sweet, Sister Nikki, from me, Sister Princess, has been a huge help with our growth in performing our duties on INC Radio. She says, love you out there, and I love you too, Nick. So thank you for your sweet comment. I really appreciate that. So like I mentioned, we're going to go on a short station break. It's currently 4:17 p.m. We hope that you continue to stay tuned with us. Don't leave just yet. We still have the rest of the show, and we will be right back.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesianicristo.
Go up to the mountains and bring wood, and build the temple, that I may take pleasure in it and be glorified, says the Lord. Haggai 1:8.
To meet the growing need brought about by the increasing number of worshipers, the Iglesianicristo Church of Christ continues its unceasing efforts in constructing worship buildings. Despite the global economic challenges and the high incidence of poverty, the structural programs of the Iglesianicristo Church of Christ, particularly in the construction of worship buildings, have remained steadfast and continuously carried out. Whether large or small, in cities or rural areas, the designs and plans of these worship buildings are overseen by the INC Engineering and Construction Department as the church administration strives to build worship buildings for every local congregation based on their size and location. In almost 16 years of Brother Eduardo V. Manalo's stewardship of the church, more than 4,000 worship buildings have been constructed in different parts of the world. This also includes the acquisition and renovation of buildings previously owned by other religious groups, transforming them into appropriate houses of worship for the church. These worship buildings are the result of great effort and dedication, all for the purpose of giving glory and honor to God the Creator. The construction of majestic and beautiful worship buildings that become landmark edifices everywhere, be it in the Philippines or in any part of the world, continues to be constructed, which aims to glorify God. And as the 111th anniversary approaches, the church administration intensifies its work in giving thanks and praises to God.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you again for continuing to stay tuned here on INC Radio Mountain States as we talk about the strength in supporting each other. As we've touched on family to family support and friendship support, I want to move into a more professional setting of academic support and even support in your workplace, and how this is important, especially with students who are studying to move into a career. I feel like for myself personally in school, I probably would not have made it through if it wasn't the support of my friends and my peers, my fellow peers in my classes. Because honestly, there were times where school it was really difficult, and having to balance school alongside my duties, it was a challenge, right? But being able to find that support, especially through the organizations, the Christian organizations inside the church, the Kadiwat members, and now they have CBI. We want to make sure that we continue to support each other, having study sessions. I remember my study sessions at our university, long nights of studying, even over the phone. Just being able to prepare for tests with peers who I knew would also be in the same room as me. That's what really helped me get through my college years and finish out. And so that is really important, and that moving into a professional setting in the workplace, it used to be when I would go to work, I had very hard boundaries for myself before, where I didn't really want to befriend coworkers, not necessarily because I had any dislike, but it was really a boundary that I had set for myself, where when you're at the workplace, your workplace is your workplace and your coworkers are your coworkers. And, that may be fine for a lot of people. And that's at the time what worked for me in my beginning stages. But I've found that being able to befriend some of my coworkers has helped me be able to network more and be able to grow in my career path itself. I think opening that vulnerability in the workplace, depending on what your industry is important at times. I feel like with healthcare, you often rely on the people who understand what you're going through and who understand the situations that you're facing. And typically those are going to be your coworkers, the people in your team, the people in your department. You need a lot of empathy in healthcare specifically. Overall, you need a lot of empathy in majority of industries, but specifically with healthcare and even in the education field, having to rely on the support of my coworkers, my colleagues, really helped me and continues to help me through challenging situations. How can I do this? How should I approach this? What do I do in this situation, right? So that support is so important to be able to not just grow in your career, but to really be able to learn and to push through any bumps in the road or any roadblocks you might face. So I feel like that's something to really bring light to, is to make sure that we have an understanding of who we're working with and seeing who can we rely on for that support. We have another comment in the chat, and I'm laughing because it's in Tagalog and I haven't read a Tagalog comment in a while. But we have Kajunalyn who says, "Happy watching po mula sa lokal ng Modesta, distrito ng Marikina." She said, "Maayong bu." Okay, so if you would like to read the chat, you're more than welcome to read the chat and see the comment from Kajunalyn. So thank you for Kajunalyn. And then we have Kajan Mark says, "Shout out brothers and sisters around the world. Greetings from the local congregation of district of Bohol." I'm so sorry po. I didn't brush up on my Tagalog before today's broadcast, so please excuse me. Lastly, the last portion that we want to touch on in the strength of supporting each other, of course, is in the performances of our duties. It's important that in the performance of our duties, we continue to strive to level up. And in leveling up in the performances of our duties, whether you're a choir member, even an organist, or even in the multimedia, in the CFO or the Christian family organizations, all duties across the board, there's always room for improvement. And finding support in one another and in the leaders who continue to lead us is so important, because we learn from each other, right? Especially when it comes to our leaders leading us. They admonish us and provide us the advice that's needed for us to continue to improve in the performances of our duties. I've been an organist for quite some time now, since I was a young Binheat member. So I think I became an organist at quite a young age, and I've been a choir member since I was 5 or 6 years old. And even up until now, I feel like there's always something that I can improve on in the performance of my duties. And I feel like that is something that we need to have, the humility we need as officers to look for guidance in our other officers. I constantly talk to my co-organists, who are my friends, about how could we play a certain hymn, or, what methods or techniques are you using in the performances of our Christian family organization offices. What template are you using to make sure we have an organized structure, or how are we documenting these reports? It's something that we need from each other. Not everybody has all the answers. So if we have multiple brains in the pot, then the stew tastes better. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but in the performances of our duties, most importantly, supporting one another is so important. And there's the only way we can continue to improve, not the only way, but one of the most important ways to improve is to continue to look to each other to connect and perform together as one. And ultimately, really, the way we improve is through the guidance of our Almighty God. And so, encouragement is such a powerful gift that we can give each other. Support is a powerful gift. Whether you're at home, amongst friends, you're in school, at work, or even performing your duties inside the church, uplifting one another continues to strengthen those relationships, strengthen those bonds. It helps us build confidence in what we're doing. And it reminds us that we're never alone, especially in our journey here, right? So when we lead with love and we continue to motivate each other, inspire each other, and uplift each other, we create stronger families, we create stronger friendships, stronger community, and of course, ultimately, we continue to strengthen our faith. So we're so grateful that you've continued to support us throughout today's broadcast. Continue to always stay tuned here on INCRadio Mountain States. Our show is every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you again for tuning in. We want to give our last shout outs to those in the chat. Again, big shout out to those who have tuned in, especially Sister Janet. She was our first commenter. She continues to comment. Sister Junalyn, thank you both for your comments and for your greetings. We really appreciate everybody joining. And we want to give our special shout out, especially to our beloved church administration, starting with Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, our deputy executive minister, Brother Barry Thompson, our district minister, Brother Oliver Canlas, our assistant district minister, Brother Jay Agustin, our CFO overseer, Brother Manly Andaya, our executive producer, all of the district multimedia team, and all of the avid listeners here on INCRadio Mountain States. Thank you again for tuning in. Please continue to stay tuned to INCRadio DCEM 954, changing lives through God's words. Up next is INCRadio Canada. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.